has my number because all the members of the constituency should be able to call me. Miss B calls me and says, Doc, be sure to tell us the Gregory Park a Labour rally. But there I feel. There's one vote at a time. There are 100 Miss B's.
It is one vote at a time, but do you have enough time, given that your predecessor, former member of Parliament Arnaldo Brown, lost that constituency by under 500 votes? Do you have enough time to that picking up of all the Miss B's in the community to overtake the State Minister, Alana Tarralong?
Therein lies the issue. And so, as an academic, you can well imagine, before accepting, I looked at the math. And the winning, as you rightly pointed out, is within one standard deviation of what would be the normal split of 50-50. In other words, he was just lucky. I'm lucky too, plus prepared to identify the 100 and 1,000 Miss B's on the ground.
But here's the thing though, Doc. If you identify the 100 or 1,000 Miss B's on the ground, you have a challenge with the voters list. Do you think that you have sufficient numbers on that voters list to translate them into coming up? Because at the end of the day, no matter how people Google you and give you a boom, is voters, is a turnout that is going to work.
So that's part of the message from day one, and we help people recognize. Remember the two principles, and that's including what I'm taking to the table. Social engineering, emotional intelligence, and in assisting people to recognize what it takes to have me represent you and take things forward at the table. And that's the votes. The people decide. Not all people know that. And we're not working with the hype. It's going to take a little more than a hot Guinness, a box food and dancing to make it happen.
But you recognize that you're getting into a political space where that hot Guinness and that box food may in fact sway the tide. Are you also prepared to do the things that may not seem that they're part of your social engineering program, but are much more practical and based to the individuals in that community to get them out to vote?
Yeah, so I'm a military man. I work with what I have, and we provide covering fire while you strategize to take out the opponent. That's how it works. And that entails a number of things. However, at the middle of it is integrity. It's not at all cost.
You know that.
And so we stay within the principles of what's acceptable. That's the basis of social engineering.
So you're saying there should be no hot Guinness and no box food handed out under the Haye campaign?
I haven't suggested that. Okay. But I'm saying there are limits.
We take the limits.
I'm very clear on them. And my established career and participation in national activities would make it very clear that I'm not the man to support things which are unacceptable.
We take your limits, Doc, because we appreciate where you're coming from and we understand that you want to make that change in terms of how you're going to be effectively employing social engineering. I want to put you, however, in the space that speaks about the electability of Peter Phillips, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, in our mechanism of voting, we are also voting for a leader. How do you think your campaign can contribute to making Dr. Peter Phillips more electable?
Well, I'll hasten to tell you. So I entered, my first tweet was 4 days ago. It's burning up.
Welcome to Twitter.
And I love it. And that's the support that we're providing. We have a movement on the ground. The flames are burning. We're making sure we're not burning down places with it, but to ignite interest and support persons in making appropriate decisions. If one person rises, the whole community will rise, and by extension, the party. And so I'm playing my part, recognizing that one leader at a time, and that's my support. Remember the military support, the military strategy.
I understand the military terms that you keep telling us and the military strategy that you want to pull in, but you still haven't clearly helped to us understand what Daniel is asking, which is we are not just voting in each of our constituencies for a member of parliament, but at the end we're also looking to see who would become prime minister. Do you believe then that it helps or hinders your chances of winning in this constituency with Dr. Peter Phillips being the helm of your party?
It's a resounding yes that I support my party leader. I think he, along with me and with my support, we're going to take it. And yes, I have every confidence that he'll take us into the next administration.
I'm gonna take what you just said about supporting your party leader, marry it with what you said to us about your integrity, and come right back to the genesis of our discussion. You talk about integrity, you talk about your support for Peter Phillips, and clearly many persons are now going to say, yeah man, it's true. He was a PNP man from a long time. The email to Dr. Tufton, how would you explain that to those listeners who would have said that that email would have been something that would have indicated that you were possibly speaking from a political standpoint?
So I've responded to that, and there's no other response. Very simple response. Integrity. That's not something anyone who knows me would tell you that I would do. And so it's a resounding no. I don't need to get into that any further.
Dr. Haye, you're also a former Army captain. You spoke of your integrity and that being something that you are seriously pushing as something that voters should consider. With that experience, however, what other experience do you bring to the table for individuals trying to make a decision to choose between candidates? What makes you suitable to be Member of Parliament for this area?
The two concepts I just pointed out, I've never heard that mentioned anywhere else in Jamaica other than in a therapeutic sphere of psychologists, mental health professionals, and that is emotional intelligence and social engineering. I'm taking that to the table so people recognize that the violence we're seeing, the carnage on the roads, for example, the spouse abuse, the volatility in communities, and that's how this is cross-cutting. I have lived in a country, I did medicine in Hungary, where social engineering, for example, ensures that people feel free to express their differences. They may even shout a little bit. I've never seen a fight in my time in training, generally speaking, on the road as we would. There are few places in the world where you step on a man's clocks, for example, and you could die. Those things don't happen. I lived that for 7 years and recognize that with appropriate education of your people, inculcating in them acceptable behaviors, you can have a society which is peaceful and not crumbling the way ours is.
I want to hold you on that. I want to take you a little bit further in terms of how we're going to be using that and dealing with that. But we have to take a short break here, Doc. Would you mind staying with us while we take that break and come back to you?